Hello everybody, my name is Jordan Crouton Moore and welcome to the channel. As you can see from the title down below, today we're going to start the very first episode of the top 10s. And of course today I had to talk about my top 10 favorite video games of all time. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Before we get into the video, I do happen to know something. Most of you who are watching this video are not subscribed to the channel, so how about we fix that? If you like what you see and you really love this video, be sure to give it a like, maybe a comment, let me know what your favorite games of all time are. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you're new, because we're doing all kinds of stuff every single week from the world of sports, music, video games, movies, and more. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And also, just so you know, every single one of these picks in the top 10 have fantastic music. And throughout the course of this video, whenever I talk about the respective game, I will be using its music. So keep that in mind. Now, let's get into the top 10 list. Starting with number 10. The first video game on this list may come to a surprise to the people that know me, because I talk about this game all the time. As a matter of fact, it's one of my favorite JRPGs, but still at number 10 at the list. That is Persona 4. I think Persona 4 does a ton of stuff fantastic, especially concerning its music. Oh my goodness, Persona 4's music. Snowflakes, heaven, the battle theme, heck, the intro theme, all of it is golden. Get it? Because Persona 4, golden. Never mind that. But this game is fantastic. But it is number 10 on this list for a specific reason. I find it kind of hard to follow sometimes. Sometimes the things that go on in the story just go right over my head and I miss every single thing. And while that's definitely not good, and I probably need to take an IQ test, I do think that there are a lot of problems whenever it comes to this game's progression. Whenever you get to the end of the game, there are a lot of choices that you have to make. Some of those, depending on how you answer, either give you the bad ending, the okay ending, the good ending, the great ending, or the true golden ending in P4G. And because of that, and the little bit of mix-up that it gives me at the end, where I had to retry the endings 3 times before I eventually got the golden one, I have to give Persona 4 Golden the number 10 spot on this list. However, the gameplay in this definitely makes up for a little bit of that. This is the first Persona game that you actually have the ability to control some of your party members, along with giving them commands so they can control themselves. And I think that's an awesome thing in a JRPG that a lot should take from it. So clocking in at the number 10 spot doesn't mean this is a bad game at all, is Persona 4 Golden. Number 9. The number 9 game on my list is one that I played for over 250 hours, and it doesn't even feel like I put 10 into it. And that is the relaxing, wonderful vacation simulator of Animal Crossing New Horizons. I put so much time into this game, and I didn't even realize it. It's because this game, whenever you're playing around, just having fun with your villagers, is such a good time. It takes you away from the world and sucks you into its own with its amazing, amazing, relaxing music. I mean, having a ukulele and a mandolin in almost every single one of your tracks is bound to be a hit. And also, the villagers are legitimately so charming. From the villagers that I have in my village, I can tell you right now that I love every single one of them to death. From Roll, the bodybuilding penguin, to Apollo, the grumpy old eagle. I love them all. And not to mention how fun this game really is. I mean, a lot of people think, how fun can a game about picking fruits and selling flowers and planting pumpkins and building houses and getting residents be that fun? But I'm telling you, it's addicting. Like, my sister doesn't play video games and she will not get off of Animal Crossing New Horizons. It's some kind of weird video game, but I love every last second of it. Animal Crossing New Horizons is a game that I love to pick up whenever I'm bored. Because for some reason, a game that's premise is boring is not to me. As a matter of fact, it's anything but that. The only reason why Animal Crossing New Horizons is not higher on this list is simply because whenever you get done with everything, there's not much to do. There's not much late game content in here other than making your own designs and fixing up your town however you want to, which I'll admit is very appealing. It's not the best time consumer in the world. As a matter of fact, it gets more taxing than relaxing, and that's something that you definitely want to handle before you go into your Animal Crossing world. Number 8. Coming in at number 8 is a game that is very near and dear to my heart, as it was the first Legend of Zelda game that I ever played. And Legend of Zelda is one of my favorite game series of all time, and this will not be the last time you're hearing Legend of Zelda on this top 10 list. But coming in at number 8 is The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Oh my goodness, the music in this game! I feel like a broken record, and I'm sure I'm gonna say something at the beginning about how much I love video game music, but man, Majora's Mask's music is so good. It's like they took Ocarina of Time and were like, how could we use the same assets but make it better? And they put Majora's Mask. Now, I love Ocarina of Time, and although it doesn't personally make my top 10, I do love the music in it. But Majora's Mask is a better Ocarina of Time in my opinion, considering the stories, the characters, and the mechanics of this game. Oh my goodness, the mechanics of being on a 3-day cooldown, and you only have 3 days to beat the game, which means you have to get really efficient with what you're able to do in those 3 days, so you can maybe fight what is one of the coolest villains in my opinion in Skull Kid. I love this game. I also love how there's not much Legend of Zelda actual stuff in it. It's a lot of more Link's adventure with Skull Kid and the two fairies to try and stop this raging moon from coming down rather than let's go save the princess and stop Ganon. It's a really nice break, which is why Majora's Mask is legitimately in my top 10. However, I can't let it get any higher because honestly, if I'm going to be completely frank, I don't like it as much as the other 7 games. I think from here down, most of these games are going to be 9.5s to 10 out of 10s. And it basically comes down to my personal preference. And at the end of the day, while I love Majora's Mask, I think I can't give it anything above number 8. But ask me tomorrow and it may be number 7 or number 6, maybe even number 3. Doubt it, but Majora's Mask is a game that I love deeply. And depending on my day, it could be a lot higher or a lot lower. But something is definitely true. I love the characters, I love the music, and I love the story of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, which earns it the number 8 spot. Number 7. Coming in at number 7 on my list is actually the only game from this series. Although I love this series and I play it competitively all the time, the number 7 spot goes to Pokemon Platinum. This was a game that I played growing up. Whenever I was younger, I didn't really get to play Pokemon all that much. That all changed whenever Pokemon Platinum came out and I saw Giratina on the front and was like, I am buying that game. And thank God I did. This game is spectacular. The story is amazing. The boss, Team Galactic, is fantastic. The gameplay is perfect for a turn-based RPG. And the music! I can't help but tell you how much I can't get the Giratina theme out of my head. It sounds like you're walking into your house and you realize you forgot to take the chicken out of the freezer after your mom told you to 4 times and she's about to pull up in the driveway. That's what it feels like. And I love it. Cynthia's theme, Route 209, Route 201. I mean, any song in Pokemon Platinum is fantastic from the get-go. And not to mention the Pokemon it brings with it, because it brings my second favorite Pokemon of all time, Piplup, into the world. Man, I love that little penguin. I swear to you, you dare say anything about me or my son ever again, and I'm going to come for you. No, but I do love Pokemon Platinum. And it was one of the first Pokemon games I got to play, and it might be the nostalgia factor that gives it the number 7 spot on my list, but I am going to keep it at number 7, and I will petition for that game until the day I go in the grave. Now on to the next one. Number 6. Number 6 is a game that I have just played recently, and by recently I mean in 2020, and I played a lot of games in 2020, my goodness, but this game was one that really hit home with me. It's amazing, you guessed it, music, character, and scenery drove it to one of my favorite games of all time, worthy of being just outside my top 5 at the number 6 spot. And that game is Xenoblade Chronicles. First off, like I said, the music is so good. Like, it is beautiful. The orchestra remasters are perfect, especially whenever you look at the ones in Smash Bros. Ultimate. But the character development in this game is so satisfying. If you told me one of my favorite characters was going to be a little thing called a no pawn, I would think you were crazy. But here I am, and I love Ricky, the hero pawn. He's absolutely amazing. And I just want to give a second and talk about the graphics in the definitive edition for the Nintendo Switch. Because Gower Plains is mind-blowing. I absolutely love it. This may be one of my favorite roaming and non-turn-based JRPGs in history. It is extremely fun. The story is captivating. The music is beautiful, and every single character is perfect. I absolutely adore this game, but I feel like the 5 below it are just better than Xenoblade. While I recommend this game a million percent and think it is a 10 out of 10, I can't put it any higher than number 6 on my list. But if you have a Switch and you have some spare change, please go pick up Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. I promise you will not be sad about it. Number 5. To round out my top 5 at the number 5 spot is a game that I think is a 10 out of 10. As a matter of fact, the next 5 games on this list are all going to be 10 out of 10s must plays. This first one is a PlayStation 4 exclusive, and it may not be the one you think it is. My number 5 is Ghost of Tsushima. I cannot say enough good things about Ghost of Tsushima. The gameplay is fantastic. The characters are captivating. The graphics are stunning. The movement makes me salivate. The free DLC, oh my goodness. The music is fantastic. And the story, oh my god, the story. Oh, I love it, I love it, I love it. And the 2 endings are both amazing. I'm not going to spoil what the 2 endings are, but at the end you have to make a choice between whether you want to continue as the Ghost of Tsushima or give that up. And at the end of the day, it is a tough decision, and one that I was stuck on the menu deciding for about 10 minutes, just because I didn't know which one I wanted to choose. And the one that I did choose, I was incredibly satisfied with it, because I had grown along with Jin Sakai, the main character of Ghost of Tsushima. And I don't regret a thing. This game is fantastic in every single regard, and I think it is not only one of the most beautiful games I've played, but one of the most captivating whenever it comes to the story. Number 4. Coming in at number 4 is a game that, I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea why on earth I love this game as much as I do. Number 4 is Minecraft. I think the thing for me that drives Minecraft is its simplicity. The simplicity behind just placing blocks and building houses and shacks and fending off mobs is just so attracting to me. I mean, simplicity in a video game is something that a lot of people would kind of say is a bad thing. But in my opinion, it drives Minecraft to be a much higher rated game than it would be otherwise. I mean, the music just adds that relaxation. I mean, listen to some of these songs. The ending, although it's not too hyped up, does make you feel rewarded though. And it's almost as if Minecraft was made to have a sequel, but I don't think it needs one. I think Minecraft is a game that is going to be enjoyed for generations upon generations, and nobody really knows why. It's confusing, but I've got to say, I absolutely love it. Minecraft also has this certain amount of memory for me. I remember coming home and playing Minecraft with some of my best friends, playing on a prison server, a faction server, pretty much anything. And I think the thing that makes Minecraft so amazing is that it's a sandbox that you can do with whatever you please. You control your friends. You can help them build gigantic cities. You can do anything. And that is what makes Minecraft so gosh dang special to me. Ask anybody that's played Minecraft and I think they can give you a different answer as to why it's so important to them. But I feel like Minecraft is one of those games that almost every single person has played at least once. If you have a computer or a phone or a tablet or anything, I feel like you've either watched someone play Minecraft or played Minecraft. Not only is it one of the best-selling games of all time, but it's now in Smash, boys! Oh my goodness, that's hype. But, you know, I really do feel like Minecraft gets a lot of unnecessary hate from people who call it a child's game. But in reality, Minecraft might be the thing we all need to calm down a busy life. Number 3. Oh boy, it's top 3 time, and I told you we would not only hear Legend of Zelda as a series one time, and here it comes at number 3. My number 3 favorite game is the open world Legend of Zelda game, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I love this game. I've 100%ed it. Percented. I have 100%ed this game 2 times. Once on master difficulty and once on normal difficulty. And I loved it both times. I have put over 800 hours into this game, collecting all 900 Kakarot seeds, I don't even care anymore, and I've done all 120 of the shrines, and I loved every last second. The story is fun and captivating. The characters are unlike I've ever seen, with so much personality. Even Link, who doesn't say a word the entire game, has a ton of personality. And this may be my favorite Zelda that we've ever had before. The stakes felt incredibly high, and I loved every last second I spent playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The mobs are inventive. The music is beautiful. Even the addition of while you're riding on horseback through all of the open worlds of only having the ambient noise around you was a great creative direction. I loved this game so much. And while some people would say that the breaking of tools and stuff like that isn't the greatest thing in the world, I would politely decline, because it makes you go out of your comfort zone. You're getting too comfortable with a one-handed sword? Why don't you try this claymore instead? Or maybe this axe? Or maybe you should try this boomerang and see how you can do with thrown projectiles. Legend of Zelda is a game that really tested the way that I gamed. And I've got to tell you, it was absolutely worth it. Number 2. My number 2 favorite game of all time is one that could easily be placed at number 1. As a matter of fact, this was my favorite game for a long time. And it's still considered to be maybe one of, if not the greatest JRPG of all time, and to many people, the greatest game of all time. Of course, I'm talking about the hit Chrono Trigger. Created by some of the biggest powerhouses in gaming, considering it was directed by the dude that made Final Fantasy VII, the dude who wrote the music for all the Megaton games, and the guy who was the art director for Dragon Ball Z, this is gonna be a powerhouse of a game. The music, as you can expect, is spectacular. The art style is astounding. The gameplay is amazing. The love that was poured into this game is astounding. And I think that it is the pure definition of what a JRPG should be. This game's characters are amazing. Going into this game, I didn't know what to expect, considering it came out on the SNES. And what I got was a game that looked like a PlayStation 2. It was fantastic, and I loved every last second I got to play Chrono Trigger. Its mechanics are amazing, featuring active turn-based combat, and the exploration and the time travel aspect are something that I loved in this game. I feel like Chrono Trigger gets the respect it deserves and some, and I love that for it. And for me, this could easily be, like I said before, my #1 favorite game of all time. As a matter of fact, until March of this year, it was my #1 favorite game of all time. But all of that shifted whenever a brand new rendition of my second favorite game came out, but we'll talk about that in just a few moments. Chrono Trigger is legitimately one of the greatest games of all time, made by one of the greatest casts of all time. And now that I'm saying this out loud, please, Sakurai, please put Chrono in the game. That would be amazing. And if you would have told me that my favorite character would have been a robot, a frog, or a cave woman, I would have told you you were crazy. But yet, my 3 favorite characters were Isla, a cave woman, Frog, a frog, and Robo, a robot. I loved them. The personality they have is astounding. And also, listen to some of this music. The only reason that Chrono Trigger is #2 on my list is because #1 happens to exist. I would be happy putting Chrono Trigger at 1. And maybe I'll replay my #1 favorite game and it won't be as great as I once remembered it to be. But as of now, Chrono Trigger sits at #2 as one of my favorite games of all time, the people's favorite games of all time, and one of the greatest JRPGs of all time. #1. The #1 game on this list is one that if you know me, you definitely would have seen coming. And trust me, I'm no joker about my #1 favorite game of all time is. So if you didn't pick it up from those hints, here's another one. That's right, my #1 favorite game of all time is Persona 5 Royal. Oh my goodness, the music in this game is spectacular. I think the music in Persona 5 Royal is the best music in a video game, period. The confidants in this game are absolutely amazing as well. I mean, look at one of my favorites being Sojiro Sakura. He has an amazing confidant, and they put so much love into this game that, in my opinion, his ladder of unlocking it is a lot like coffee. Whenever you first meet him, he starts off as this bitter man that you just really didn't enjoy. But as it gets on, it gets sweeter and more tolerable, and you start to learn that he's actually really good at helping you, just like coffee is. And I think that him running a coffee shop is a perfect analogy. I ultimately think that Persona 5 is the greatest game of all time. All of the confidants are spectacular, except for Oya. We hate Oya in this house. We do not like her. Hers is horrible. We hate Oya. But other than that, everything is so amazing. I mean, the music, mind-blowing. The characters, stunning. The art style is so sexy. The setting, the personas, the story, the whole game is perfect. The gameplay is so much fun. Being able to control all of these personas, it's amazing. I love Pokemon, and Persona is basically just more adult Pokemon, and I love it. Persona 5 Royal has to be my favorite game. While Persona 5, there are a lot of things that I don't necessarily enjoy about the game, Persona 5 Royal corrects all of those and adds a stunning third semester. If not for this third semester, Persona 5 would be #2 or 3 on my list. But with the third semester, adding someone who is arguably one of the greatest villains in video game history, I think you have to give Persona 5 Royal a little bit of credit. And there's a really good reason that it is #1 on this list. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go jam to some Persona 5 music. But be sure that if you like this video to subscribe. Go down in the comments below and let me know what your favorite games of all time are, because I would love to hear them. Although this list will probably change in a couple of years, I honestly believe that Persona 5 Royal is the greatest game of all time. And if you have a PlayStation 4 or a PlayStation 5 whenever they come out, be sure to play Persona 5. You will not regret it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to go down in the comments and let me know your top 10 favorite games. Also, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, and maybe even subscribe, because I post content every single week, except for last week because I got behind on my school, but we're not going to talk about that. I love every single game that was on here, and I'd love you more if you would subscribe. Thanks for watching.